What's going on, everybody? Rob Ferretti. Before we get to today's video, there's like 4 days left to go to Germany. Germany is completely sold out on adventure drives. If you want to come on the trip, there's 170-ish shirts left. So everybody else's odds are better if you don't buy in. But if you want a chance, you got a 1 in 500 chance or up to a 1 in 500 potential odds of winning the trip to Germany with us, September 24th to 29th. It's the only way you're getting in on the trip. Otherwise, we're going to have a great time without you. But now let's talk about what we're here for today, which is talking about these cars. You saw in my last video that I'm going to be selling a bunch of cars. And when I say selling a bunch, every single one except for the red Lamborghini Urus. And then I was going to sell the blue Lamborghini Urus. But one of my customers was like, don't do that, I want to rent it. And I was like, okay, well then I will keep it. So I'm going to keep both Uruses. Everything else is going to get sold for whatever various reason and either turned over or not replaced until peak season next year. But I've been getting all these emails, and I thank everybody for the emails. I didn't get back to 70% of you yet. I will, but I'm hoping this video clarifies some of it. A lot of people are like, oh, how much is this? How much is that? How much is that? I haven't priced everything out yet. I didn't think about pricing everything out yet. I've been pricing stuff out as people are asking about it. But if your idea is that I'm going to sell something for 30 cents on the dollar, don't bother, right? Like, I'm going to give you a fair price, but it's not going to be a price where you can turn around. Yeah, maybe you can turn around and flip it and make 5, 10 grand, but you're not going to be able to make $50,000, right? So if you think you're going to get something that's $50,000 under market value, I'm a business guy. I'm not going to do that. I can just throw them through auction and get essentially the similar money. I am going direct A to C right now. So we're eliminating the dealer buying it and then marking it up and selling it to you. So if you want to go to essentially buy wholesale, which you're otherwise not able to ever do, fine. If you're a wholesaler, don't bother reaching out to me. I'm not going to give it to you 30% under wholesale. It's just, if you're looking for a driver's car, and some of these cars, and I'll go through how I price them, some of these cars are driver's cars, right? Like this Ferrari behind me is a driver's car. It's got 5 accidents on it. There's nothing wrong with it, but this car is meant for somebody who wants to buy the car and drive it. You're not going to buy this car and then flip it to somebody and make 40 grand. That's just not the nature of this car. For the rest of its eternity is going to be a car that people buy that don't really care about mileage. They want to put more miles on them without really impacting their cost of ownership. And that's what this car is perfect for. How do I price a car like that, right? Like, how do you price a car with 45,000 miles on them? Now, there are other ones out there. You go look at the other cars that are for sale. And with cars this specific, and this, you could use this for your own cars if you're trying to sell it. How do you price your own car? Well, you're going to look and you're going to search. I use Auto Tempest, right? Because it aggregates all these other websites. And you can look for cars.com and Auto Trader and all of these. And they put in eBay, it pulls them all together. And now you're searching one site to find all the listings on these cars. And I'll search by as many specifics as you can get, right? Because you want to do apples to apples. You can't just say, what is the cheapest 488 out there? Because then it's going to pull up a salvage first year 488 coupe with 75,000 miles on it with a bent frame or something like that. Or one that's missing the whole passenger side. So you have to look at cars, and then you can adjust down from there. So I look, this is a 2017 Ferrari 488 Spider. So I go look up 2017 488 Spiders, and I look for ones, and I start with the highest mileage. And that will give you an indicator of where that price should be. And I'll look and find that the cheapest one out there for a 2017 488 Spider is, just say, $229,000, $225,000. That is not a salvage car. Salvage cars generally sell a good bit less, or they'll even ask less, even if it's a salvage rebuild, because salvage cars, and depending on the car, some of them, I've gone through this, can be great buys, but you have to assume without evidence that a salvage car was crumpled up into a ball and then straightened out. With this car, you know that's not the case, so I compare it off of the clean title cars, and then I make an adjustment. So the adjustment I made on this, I would ask $200,000. If the next cheapest one that you can find listed is $229,000, then mine is, I could ask $210,000 and negotiate or whatever. I'll just say $200,000. Just get it done and gone. If you're reaching out to me and being like, would you take $135,000? I'm not going to take $135,000. Why would I take $135,000? You can't even get a salvage car for $135,000. Don't be silly. So that's That's that. What about this car? Same thing. These are the two most popular cars people were asking about, were the Ferrari and the Lambo. This Lambo, you're looking about the same thing, about $200,000. If you look, this is a 2019 Lamborghini Huracan Spider, and this doesn't have the accident history of the Ferrari over here. This is a a little bit fewer thousand miles. It's got like 41,000 miles on it, but clean car. I mean, it's got obviously the wear that you would expect on a 40,000 mile car. And the thing that these cars all have in common is they've had very little in the way of non-scheduled maintenance, right? They've gotten their oil changes, they've gotten their fluid flushes, they've gotten tires or brakes as needed, but otherwise there hasn't been any major malfunction on them. It's still like you see this Lamborghini driving down the road and it's a car, it's a nice clean car. And that's really what you're getting. And I'm pricing this. You go try to find a Huracan Spider anywhere, the 2019, and this is very specific, right? You could find like a 2016, 2017 cheaper, but the 2019s and then even the Evos after that, the prices really take another jump. So you have to really compare apples to apples. And I tell people if they want both cars, I'll give them both for $190. Like I'm a guy who's looking to move the inventory, but that's how I start pricing them. The Porsche is another one over here. Is no accidents, no paint work, and not even crazy miles. I forget what the mileage was on this, but I did the thing, and this is, the Porsches have different designations, right? There's a Carrera, Carrera 4, Carrera 4S. The 4S's sell for the most money. This is a Carrera 4 convertible, and there's only like one other example even on the market. This one I was saying, 90 grand. But if it was a Carrera 4S, that would be an extra $10,000 that this thing would go for. This 2023 here, this is a car that actually the market on these things has dropped significantly. This was a $93,000 MSRP when I bought it, and it's probably gonna be 70 grand now. And again, not big miles, 10,000 miles on it, good spec. It's got all the goodies you want. It's got the cool carbon fiber seats and everything like that. Like, it's a good, clean car. And there's no reason to sort of discount this the same way I would look for the lowest priced cars on the market. The Corvette, the Porsche, even like the RSS, like these would all be priced at current almost retail market value. I'm just a business guy, so I see a value in moving them quicker. But I'm not looking for top dollar, but I'm also not just going to give something away. I understand what something is worth and the value of a quick transaction, right? If it takes me 3 months to sell a car when it's sitting, like say it's the winter time and the car's sitting, I value a transaction because I've got an interest expense of sitting on these cars for a couple of months. If I owned everything in cash, different story. But now each car that I sit on may be costing me $1,000 to $2,000 a month to sit and look at in interest. The equity in the car, and depreciation is another thing. If the car is further depreciating, which if they're sitting around not getting miles, the time depreciation usually isn't that significant. But just say it is, right? Just say for the Corvette, for example, say the entire Corvette market is moving down by whatever, 10% a year. So every month is costing me like an additional 1% of the vehicle's value, which could be another $700 a month, plus the interest expense on top of the loan, the additional payment that I make, and then the insurance I would have to pay as well. The interest that I'm paying is gone, but the money that I'm putting into the payment on that car, which is going towards principal, I just get back when the car is sold. So, I mean, that's really how I sell cars, and that's how I price cars. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put together just a list of everything, and at least I can send everybody, if you email me and ask me for, hey, what's the price of this? I'm just gonna send you the entire list of all the cars, but I can't keep like going through and everyone's like, well, how about this one? What about this one? And I ask you what car you want, and everyone's like, well, why don't you tell me the price for everything? Like when you go to a restaurant, like, hey, what would you like to eat? I'd go for a steak, but why don't you tell me what everything costs? I mean, I guess that's why there's a menu. I don't have my menu. I'm going to put it together. But that's how I price cars. That's a good way that you can price a car. Same thing, even if you have like a Porsche or this Speciale back here. You're going to look at other cars. Comparable car sales or comparable car listings is probably the most telling thing you can do if you're looking to sell a car as far as how to price it out. If the entire market is delusional and they want a lot of money, then guess what? The offers will be lower, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't price it where everyone else is. Because I've found if I've ever priced anything well below market price to move it, everyone thinks something's wrong with it. And that's got nothing to do with like a rental or non-rental, even like a personal car. If I was going to be like, yeah, I'm just going to look to get rid of it, and everyone's like, Why is it cheaper than everyone else's? And it's either, usually if something's too good to be true or too cheap, everyone thinks it's either a scam or there's something wrong with it. So you want to price it according to the market, and you can be more agile when it comes to negotiating and actually selling it. But as far as the listing price, the way you would do it is you'd go off of everyone else's listing and you'd find the most comparable cars out there. Some people are delusional, right? Some people will have a Gallardo and they'll be like, I want $240,000 for it. It's worth 145. Like, you can't just, you can ask whatever you want, it's your vehicle, but you have to be realistic. So that's why the more data points you can use, that's how you price things. That's how you price things accordingly. I then add the metrics of like how many miles are on the car, if there's an accident history on it, and then adjust accordingly. Rob Ferretti, thank you for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing one of you guys in Germany. It's coming up in like 3 weeks. So drawing is going to be September, I think I said 3rd or 4th. I don't remember. Whatever it is when it's going to be. And I'll make the announcement on my Instagram and contact the customer. Whoever bought the shirt or whoever did their entry will be joining us in Germany, and it's going to be a good time. Rob Ferretti. And I reserved you an M4 already, so, or a Z4M. You got either one you can pick. Rob Ferretti, thanks for watching. See you next time.